the next 3 weeks of trainings, kind of on the what's called the business model canvas and lean startups. So we're going to go over some basic stuff today, just kind of a get to know each other sort of evening tonight. So not a lot of really deep information. We'll get into more of the deep information later on this week. So just have to mention I'm here because of a grant from the U.S. State Department, working with Jared and Razaki. They went through something called the Mandela Washington Fellowship, which is a program where they both got to go to the United States to learn about what we do over there, and I'm here getting to do the same about Uganda. So, had a lot of fun so far the first week I've been here. So, guys, do you want to talk, Jared, you want to talk about yourself for a minute, or? Because you're vital to this thing.
Alright, my name is Gerard Iga, as my brief bio says there. I'm in the business just like the rest of you, specifically the tourism business. And formerly, my profession was a teacher. I retired, some say I ran away, but it's fine. And I'm a 2019 fellow of the Mandela Washington Fellowship. And while I was on that program, it's when I got the chance to meet Jay in Iowa City, where he conducts a sort of business-related training. So we attended some of the events he does. So when I came back, and the opportunity showed up to partner with someone from the US to do something in my community. So Jay would be a great person to invite so that he could teach some of the things that we learned there to other people doing business here, things that I thought would be helpful. Thank you.
Hello, good evening everyone. Yeah, Uganda Razako here, CEO founder from here as a business development limited. Our company distributes agricultural inputs, fertilizers, agrochemicals, things like that. We blend that with trading and farmer linked markets. I'm the 2019 Mandela Washington Fellow. I was at Oklahoma State University down south. They've done really most of the work. Putting all this together is really them, so I thank them for that. I'm looking forward to learning from each of you. And it's good to be here. I'm not a person of speeches, so it's good to be here.
Yeah.
So like I said, my name is Jay Cooper. I'm from Iowa City, Iowa. Further north than Oklahoma, so kind of right in the middle. How many of you know where Chicago is? Middle of the country, not on either coast. That's kind of where Iowa is, just to the west of Chicago, 4 hours on the road. So I'm there. I have a business of my own called Cider Finder. It's an app I'm putting together to help hard cider makers and hard cider enthusiasts in the U.S. come together to increase their business. I also have a nonprofit called Entre Partners. It's to run events sort of like this, where people can learn how to start a business or how to improve their business. Just started that this year. And then I work at the University of Iowa, and I'm in charge of their startup incubator, so college students at the University of Iowa who have brand new startup businesses. They go through our program, and I help teach them exactly what I'm going to be teaching all of you the next 3 weeks. And then I run an event called Startup Weekend. Don't know if they've ever had one here in Uganda, but I know they've had them in other countries in Africa nearby. I know Nigeria usually has several. Kenya may have one or two. But it's a fun weekend where you take just an idea that's going through your head and you try to form a team around it, and then that team works for the entire weekend. By the end of the weekend, you get to do what we're going to do at the very end of this 3-week course, and put together a short pitch deck and present your idea. Yes. Okay. Well, and that's the thing. If you need me to repeat anything, or because I know I have a Midwestern American accent, and sometimes I say stuff differently than probably the British English that a lot of you are used to. Just tell me to repeat it. That's fine. It does not offend me. So I put my email and if any of you are on LinkedIn, I put that on there as well. I've had a long entrepreneurial journey. It's been long and kind of windy. Started out working at the University of Iowa, and now I'm working at the University of Iowa again. So it's kind of a circular journey. But I've worked with accelerators. I've worked on community projects. I have my own business, and then I travel the United States, and now I get to travel the world to teach this stuff. So some pictures from different things I've been to when I've been teaching, facilitating, enjoying beverages, that sort of thing. So like Jared said, he and I both met in Iowa City in 2019. He was there as a fellow. I was running our startup weekend event. We have one every July. We actually had ours the weekend before I got on the plane to get here. So not a lot of sleep those first few days. And we've just been in contact. I've been sending him stuff to read about entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial ecosystems. And so over the next 3 weeks, we're going to go over the business model canvas. And we're going to, in a minute, we're going to go through what's in those folders that are in front of each of you. We're going to do this over 8 sessions. I know there are more than 8 boxes, but some of them are really short and only need part of the session. Then we're going to have demo day at the very end at a different venue than this, right? Yes. And so we'll have more information on that later. And hopefully we'll have some dignitaries, some of the important folks come by. And then we're going to have office hours, which those are not required. It's just this Monday, Wednesday, Friday, these next 3 weeks, this week, next week, and the week after, that you're required to be here. But on Tuesday and Thursday, I'm just going to come over here to Bamboo Village in the evening, probably enjoy a beverage. I'm happy to talk to any of you if you have questions or just want to chat during those hours. So what we're going to be going over is this. This is the basis. This is the business model canvas. As you can see, there are a number of boxes with different labels. We'll go through what all those different labels mean over the course of the next 3 weeks. Really the 2 most important boxes, the ones we're going to spend the most time on, are these big ones here. Your value propositions and your customer segments. So that's going to be the rest of this week that we're going to be spending a lot of time on those. And then we'll go a little quicker through the rest of them because they're important, but they're not nearly as important as those first 2. And so here's our schedule. This is today. And so then Wednesday, we're going to go over value propositions. Friday, we'll do customer discovery and customer segments. And then next week, we'll do channels, relationships, and then money in and money out, because of course that's important too. And then our final week, we have 3 boxes, activities, partners, and resources, just because they're really quick to go through. That's why we've lumped them all into this one day. The Wednesday of that week, we're going to put all the pieces together and kind of explain how it all relates in the whole. And then demo day on August 12th. And then office hours, like I said, those are going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. They are not required. You don't have to come to them if you don't want to. But I will just be there to answer questions and to talk. And I'll kind of have a focus on each of the office hours. But really, as we go along, if you still have questions about stuff from week 1 and it's week 3, that's fine. We can go through and talk about that stuff. The very final day, like I said, it's called demo day. You're going to get up and give a presentation about what you've learned. So it's kind of a show and tell sort of day. The idea is that you'll put together a slide deck with specific slides, and we're going to cover that later on. The demo day is going to be recorded, and I'm going to compile them all into individual videos so that maybe you can make some connections with some folks back in America or elsewhere in the world. Maybe make those connections for your business. And then we're going to have fun. We're going to have a celebration because a lot of this stuff is really difficult to wrap your mind around sometimes. And we're going to be packing a lot of information into 3 weeks. So we're going to celebrate. In your pile of stuff that each of you have, you should have a copy of Talking to Humans. That's the kind of book that's sandwiched in the middle. That's the basis of kind of how to do customer discovery. The idea is that you should try to read through it over the course of this week, because Friday we're going to do our customer discovery lecture and do some exercises that are related to that book. The composition notebook, it's just for you to take notes. There's nothing in there. If you want to take notes in it, that's great. If not, that's okay too. And then the folder, you have several things in there. I gave everyone a copy of the everything from the slide decks, so you're not having to sit here and take notes vigorously. So you can just kind of underline, you can highlight, you can just take notes in margins if you want, whatever you want to do. I also gave you 10 copies of the business model canvas. It's an opportunity for you as we go through this to be able to actually apply this to your businesses. And the business model canvas is not something that's supposed to be permanent. It's something that's supposed to have multiple different versions of it. So as you go along and you learn, well, maybe my customer segments aren't what I thought they were. You can go through, you can start a clean version of the canvas. So that's why I provided 10 of those. We also have a value proposition canvas, value proposition ad lib. Those are going to be our exercises for Wednesday. So hang on to those. There are a couple of talking to humans worksheets. We're going to go over those on Friday. And then I put some note cards in there and my contact info. Note cards if you want them for your final presentation. It's easy to just write out whatever you want, especially if you get nervous in front of a big group of people. Sometimes it's nice to have them in front of you. So speaking of getting up in front of people, we're going to do a fun activity. It's called Half Baked. This is something we do at every startup weekend that I run. And we've got red cards and blue cards over here. And we're going to split people up maybe into 4 groups. I think we have enough for 4 groups. And so maybe...
Before we go any further,
yes.
If anyone needs me to repeat things in a Ugandan accent, I'm very fine with that. But if you're all alright, you can go ahead.
Excellent. Excellent. So I think this row will be a group. This row is a group. This is a group, this row. And then we have this row. So now those 2 words, there's a word on each card. Those 2 words are your imaginary business name for the next 20 minutes or so. So your group is going to get together, you're going to start talking, and you're going to go through and come up with the problem and solution. Like, what is this, if my business were, what is it? How about this? Dazzling failure. If my business were dazzling failure, I'd figure out, well, we're solving the problem of, people failing at things. So our solution is an app to something. So you take your words, you come up with a fake business essentially, and then tell me how you're going to make money with that business. So does that make sense? Okay. So I think we're going to take 5 minutes to do this. So if each group wants to kind of go to their own section here. All right, the 5 minutes is up, but before you go back to your seats, if I could have everyone's attention.
Attention, everyone. Attention.
Before you get up and get back to your seats, everyone point at someone. Just point at someone in your group.
Point at anyone.
Whoever the person has the most people pointing at them is the center. All right. Surprise! You're getting up in front of the group.
So I guess you've chosen your presenter. Yeah.
All right. Pencils down. It is time to present.
Hi everyone. My name is Robert Gerald Andama, founder of Remote Global Solutions. We operate in town. At the same time, we also do Impact Next Capital Lenders. The other details are no later. So our business is premium helicopters. We decided to say, okay, since it's premium, sometimes the word premium can scare away people. So we hold the word helicopter, when we say helicopter alone, because of noise, sometimes people run away. So we said we can also do it as premium air. Premium helicopters, we do premium air on it. The problem we're finding in setting our business, the problem is there are limited airstrips in our country. So mostly even in our district, I think West Nile we have limited ones. In Arua we have one. I think the next one is in Gulu. If we look at the northern, then we have Pakuba, the one in the top. So what is our solution? We are going to be providing premium and affordable services to the people of West Nile, to be specific, even to the entire Greater North. How do we make money? Through hospital lifts. That is in emergencies, when we have a sick person, it's easier to lift the person using a helicopter. Instead, you just need to make a call. You can even land at the hospital, pick the person. Maybe if their accident will be of a good health than the plane, because accident victims, we can easily lift them to receive better medical services. We offer the best in helicopter services to be introduced in West Nile, so you can count on us.
Hello everyone. My name is Baku, also known as Shambu. CEO Shambu Food Hub. So our business was initially windy inflation. So because inflation is higher and right now we're facing some challenges in Uganda, we have decided that our business will be called Win-Win. So that the challenges or the problems we're facing right now is the constant the general increase in commodity prices, fuel, that affects our business every day. In that, like, if you go to the market today, the next day the prices change and what, so it's really a big challenge. And then it also affects us, like, it's in a way that we always try to determine the prices, maybe like the final product prices for our customers. So as for a solution, we decided to look for the possible cheapest suppliers around, or maybe in the outskirts of Arua, people who can give us maybe raw materials at a cheaper price, so that when they become the final products, we do not overcharge people. But to make money, and how to make the money is through advertising, using our connections. Yes, it's very better. That's meaning.
My name is
Not audible enough.
Okay, my name is Rafsanjan Burhan, standing in for an event examination. Our business is in line with the community health. We're taking the case of Uganda, whereby we are a developing country. Access to healthcare is a very big challenge. Case in point, I understand most of you have gone to public health facilities and you're sent outside to go and conduct other medical examinations. Most times, even if you go for mere, headache, then they tell you, go do a checkup in nearby clinic. So an even examination is coming in place to bridge that gap. We are starting a community health support center where we'll be offering all health-related services to the community. It's a one-stop center where you can be able to do all these things at a subsidized fee. And we're coming to close that. So walk into an even examination, we'll be able to conduct all the medical checkups on you at a minimal fee that's affordable for even the lowest earning citizen. So through that, we'll be able to keep our our center running, and then we earn money, and then we solve the problem. And even examination medical health facilities. I think that's what we do, and this will keep us going. So with that even examination. Yeah. So basically, with an even examination, you can be able to get all your health checkups done. The one-stop center will be able to do that at an affordable fee. that everyone, even the poorest of the poor, can afford. So that's where we can work with that. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Kenya Claudia, sales and marketing moist cheese. So our business name is Cheese Cohort. That's our main place in Darua, the main office, but we work across Africa and we're including the US market at the moment. So our problem is from our customers, the problem has been the cheese are very moist that it goes bad is the shelf life is reduced. That's been our major problem. As I told you, we do export business a lot. So with that, the solution we found that is like for our export business, at least we reduce the moisture content and give them the dry one. Then for the internal, that they can buy and use immediately the moist one. So that's how we buy the So one, the dry one takes long, easy storage for the long distance, even transportation. So you can represent it and it does for even 1 million. And you know with cheese, the older it takes, that's type cheese. So that's then how we make money. As I told you, we do export and we make dollars, euros. And then what we do, we improve the packaging to make this cheese airtight, like hermetic storage for those who have it. So we seal it airtight that it doesn't absorb moisture from the external environment. That prolongs the shelf life of this cheese. Then we also have what we introduce is to have variety of sizes. You know, our buying potential is the same that people have the money, and we also need to cater for the local ones who are pushing in. So we have several varieties. While those who do bag patches, who can afford the bag patches to do, those who afford the small packs for home use. Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, so we do that fun little exercise at every startup weekend. I thought that would be a fun way for all of you to get talking to each other, because Jared said that some of you haven't met each other yet. So. There, you hear the term startup, you hear the term small business. They're really kind of a continuum of the same thing. All small businesses, all businesses in general start as startups. It's got to start somewhere. So some startups become small businesses where you maybe have 1 or 2 brick and mortar locations, and you're selling to your town or your city. That's fine. But then other startups end up as the fast scaling, the Googles and the YouTubes and all that stuff, the Apple, Facebook, that you hear in the news all the time. Both create jobs. Both are fantastic for the economy. It just depends on where you want to go, what direction you want to go with your business. That is the difference between being a tech startup and being a small business, or eventually a medium-sized business, large business. That's the goal. There is a book. This book, The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. It is essentially the original book that was written to talk about lean startups and iterating, pivoting, doing the changes you need to do in order to continue to survive, and going from a startup to either small, medium, large business, or get on that tech startup train. So, what are lean startups? Lean startup is able to test things and pivot rapidly. So, a pivot. You'll hear this term pivot a lot, and it's not. There's a joke over the U.S. There's a TV show called Friends. They were trying to move a couch up the stairs, and one of the guys starts yelling, "Pivot, pivot!" and the other guy starts going, "Pivot, pivot, pivot." It has nothing to do with moving a couch upstairs. It has everything to do with seeing there's an obstacle and turning to get around it, and turning and turning. So it's a process of continuous innovation. There's something called the build, measure, learn loop. This is what you do in order to decide whether or not you pivot, or maybe completely abandon ship, or whether you're doing the right thing. So you're building. You'll see that MVP. What do you think MVP stands for?
Most valuable player.
I was going to say most valuable player. In this context, it's going to stand for minimum viable product. So what is the smallest, most simple thing you can build, like just putting up a storefront somewhere, or if you're building a physical product, maybe it's something that doesn't have all the features you want on it, but you can eventually get there. So it's the thing that people will start buying that's the easiest, the simplest, the cheapest thing you can do. So you build your minimum viable product, you then measure through the system that we're going to talk about during this 3-week session, customer discovery. Customer discovery is a process where you're going to be talking to humans. That's why you have that book in front of you. So you're going to talk to people, you're going to ask them about what problem they're having. You're going to figure out what solutions they're using right now. So it may be the solution you offer, it may be the solution someone else is offering. They may not have a solution for it right now. That's what you're trying to find out. And so then, once you've done your customer discovery, you've tested it with your very simple product, then you're going to generate your to-do list. So those words over there, those are different ways of essentially prioritizing what you need to fix, what you need to build as you move forward. And so then you're going to find another thing that's called product market fit. So does the service you're offering, the product you're building, that sort of thing, does it actually work with the audience that you're trying to attract? So this is why next time on Wednesday we're going to talk about value proposition. So what value your business is giving your customers. And then Friday we're going to talk about customer discovery and customer segments. So what specific segments are you targeting? And we'll go over that. A lot of people want to just target everyone. Well, you're shooting too many arrows when you're doing that. You want to aim at a certain group first until you have a chance to build up that audience, and then you can start scaling. You can start aiming in different directions, in different groups at that point. When you're first starting out, just starting out with one group of people is the easiest. So this is that loop I was talking about. That you're building and you're learning. And you're going around this, and you're supposed to go around that loop over and over again as you continue to test things and talk to people. You build something new, maybe you open a new location of a store, maybe you build a new version of whatever, an app or physical product that you're doing. And so there's a lot to it. I know this is talking about coding and all that. A lot of this has to do with tech startups, but it's completely applicable to brick and mortar stores, to physical products, to that sort of thing. So we're going to be talking about that sort of stuff over the next couple of weeks. And so the reason you have, like I was saying, the reason you have a number of copies of the business model canvas, that one sheet essentially for early businesses replaces that traditional 50-page business plan that you go into the bank with and hope they give you a loan with it. That one page lets you quickly change the direction you're going, quickly pivot, without having to rewrite another 50 pages. So at the point many of you are at, there's no reason to write such a huge thing. It's just the one pager to keep track of your progress. You're essentially just going to summarize your points on the canvas, and what we're going to talk about next time, the value proposition statement is the key to absolutely everything in this. It's your problem has a solution for a certain group of people, and that's what that statement is. Essentially, so you can get up here and give us one sentence. So I really enjoyed hearing about everyone's businesses, but we're not going to have time for that in the future. We're going to have to go with just the one sentence in the future. So, one sentence. So you're going to be able to determine what your metrics for success. So, what is it? Whatever the amount of money you're making, is it the number of customers you're able to serve in a day? You're going to be able to get to pick what those metrics are, what those things you're measuring are, in order to determine whether you're success or failure, whether it's time to keep going, or whether it's time for one of those pivots. The customer discovery part of this is crucial, and we're going to go over this in great detail on Friday. Filling out the early versions of your canvas, it's mostly going to be guesswork. You're really just going to be, especially for some of those later boxes that we're going to talk about, your partners, your activities, the things kind of on the left side of the canvas, those are really guesses toward the beginning. The things, especially during a startup weekend, that we really want people to really hone in on is that value proposition box and the customer segments box. Because if you can really get those things figured out, the rest of the box is just going to kind of fall into place. The Talking to Humans book, which is this, it's that thing in front of you. That's what I want you to read before Friday. So I think that's, yeah, so does everyone have a copy of that book?
Some of us may not be very fast readers, but you have 4
But you
days
have it, yeah, you
between
have
now
until
and
Friday.